Don't be stupid, boys. Turn off Clyde, support your side.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs.
G'day boys and girls. This Half the World Away podcast is a recording of an interview that Kevin, Liam and myself had with the man of the moment, the Tonga Tim, Lomalito Moala. It took place on the evening of Thursday, August 7th, 2014, which was the night after the second leg of the Champions League qualifier with Legia Warsaw. It was initially meant to be part of our normal podcast, as to be broadcast tomorrow, but true to form, the interview went longer than anticipated, so we thought we'd post it as a standalone show. We hope to be back tomorrow, on Friday, August 8th at midday Celtic Park time, where we'll dissect the Celtic v Legia game, and we hope to broadcast at the same time as the Europa League draw, so hopefully you can join us then. As always, if you want to get in touch with us, you can follow us on Twitter at halftheworld88 or by email at halftheworld88@gmail.com. In the meantime, we hope you enjoy the interview with Lomalito Moala.
I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel bad.
Welcome to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast, Lomalito Moala. It's
Cool.
great to have you on the show.
Cool. Thanks for having me. So, look, I'm pretty excited about the show as well. So,
It's all good, Loma, it's all good. Well, I'd like to start off joining us again as usual on this little recording that we're doing for the live show that will go out on the Friday night. We've also got good old Pat Close in Melbourne, and we've got Liam Carrigan in Osaka in Japan as well. So g'day guys.
G'day.
G'day Kev.
Right, we'll get straight on to Loma, because we know you're a popular and a busy man now, Loma. So I guess the first thing I'll ask you, and there's a lot of Celtic fans that will be listening into this, I guess the first I heard of you, Loma, was I was on Twitter, and it was during the Commonwealth Games, of course, and I'd seen a few retweets from a few Celtic fans that I follow, obviously. And there's this guy, this Tongan boxer, who's over in Glasgow for the Commonwealth Games. And he's going on about Celtic, and he's going on about he's going to be wearing taking a Celtic shirt out at the opening ceremony. So straight away, I followed you, mate. And then once I got onto your timeline, I kind of scrolled down a little bit to see what you'd been saying. And I thought it was fantastic, Loma, I'll be honest with you. So, of course, I was retweeting this, and I tweeted it out to my followers, plus the Half the World Away Twitter account, plus our Mandara Celtic supporters account. So between us, we've maybe got, I don't know, certainly nowhere near the amount of followers you've got now. But we got it out there, and I think I checked a day later, and you had something like 9,000 odd followers on Twitter. Now, Loma, tell us what was going through your head. First of all, when you were coming out, you're coming to Glasgow to do the for the boxing, obviously representing Tonga. What was going through your mind? Was this a kind of premeditated thing that you had planned, that you were going to come get your Celtic jersey and do this, or did it just all happen spur of the moment?
no, it was like the Twitter thing. That just happened. It was more. I think it was like last year, maybe a year out from the games, around Christmas. I always told my girlfriend I needed to get a Celtic top. Like I said, first thing I'm doing is I'm going to the Celtic store and I'm getting a top.
Yeah.
And what happened was we went down to me and my teammate. We went down to central Glasgow.
Yep.
And as soon as you come out of the train station, and I seen the Celtic, and it was early in the morning as well. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. So, what happened was I told my mate, I'm like, you know what, I have to get a Celtic top. Like that's what I want to do. And plus, because my mate wanted some Celtic shorts as well, so we went in, had a chat with the manager, and I'm like just asking him about the prices for the tops. And as soon as I got it, I literally said, I don't want to put it in a bag. I want to wear it now. So I took the selfie, and at the time on my Twitter, I only had about 190 followers. So, but like, it just happened, and then the whole time I was wearing a Celtic top. And then that's how it happened. But the whole Twitter thing, that just happened. Like, it just happened.
It just exploded, I think, after that.
Yeah. So I think everyone thought it was premeditated, but it wasn't premeditated. It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened as that. But it's true to say, Loma, that you do, or you've had a bit of a soft spot for Celtic anyway in the past. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came to pass?
So because most of the time, like when I was following Celtic, it all started with what's his name, Scott McDonald, the Australian player. So the thing was, we're always following him in the media over here. So I was like, oh yeah, he's playing for the Hoops. Yeah. Always scoring goals and stuff. And then every time he played for Australia, he never scored for Australia.
That's
And I'm like, how can you play in a top team? You score like, a bucket load of freaking goals, but then when you come play for Australia, nothing happens. Yeah. And then, that's when he got cut from the Aussie team. And then, you're following your players like Gary Hooper before, and you had Wanyama, who's at Southampton, they're players. So like in that time when they beat Barcelona, that was pretty much like a golden squad right there if you look at it on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
no,
I think,
it's great.
But I think I'm in Glasgow with the Celtic. I think it's just brought it out of me. So.
And it's still continuing as well, because I noticed just before we obviously did the Skype call tonight, Loma, as well. I was having a look through your timeline again just to see, and you're still going on about Celtic, mate, and you're still retweeting all these other tweets. And it's, I mean, obviously we're passionate Celtic fans as well, but something like this, I think every Celtic fan is kind of taking you to their hearts with what you did, and you followed through on your promise as well, Loma. When you said you were going to take that, you were going to have the hoops in the opening ceremony. I was watching it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it back on 10 Play over here with the family. And we were all waiting. We weren't so much waiting for the Scotland team to come out. We were waiting for the Tongan team to come out to see you. And sure enough, there you were dancing around with the hoops with your teammates as well. And it was one of those hair on the back of the neck kind of moments for us. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to be saying that as well. It's you followed through on it, Loma, and I've got to take my hat off to you, mate, if I had one on. It was really superb. Pat, have you got any comments on how you found out about Loma and what your thoughts were on what he was up to on Twitter?
I think it was along the same lines as you. It was, what is this guy up to? This guy's a nutter. This Tongan flipping boxer. What exactly is he thinking? I didn't watch the open ceremony. I recorded it. I've got to say, and it's still recorded. But it was the same as you. It was just like, when are these people tweeting? Who's this nutter? Who's wandering around with the hoops on? Like, I do that every day. Nobody takes pictures of me and puts them up there. But no, it's like this novelty. We always love someone from like a non-Scottish / Irish background who just follows the club and just has that whole passion. And all of us love it, and it's not. There's people all over America. There's people who do podcasts. There's people like yourself, Loma, who just get the bug and are stuck by it. So, obviously Kev was talking about, you kind of knew about Celtic in the past. Would you class yourself as a fan, or just someone who'd a passing interest in Celtic? Like, you're obviously a soccer fan because you can tell just the way you're talking. But would you say you were a Celtic fan, or just someone who looked for a score in the newspaper? Once a week?
Nah, full Celtic fan. It goes deep, because when I was following the NBA when I was like growing up, I like Boston Celtics. So anything Celtic, I like Celtic, and just the color green. So I never had Rangers in my mind at any second.
Good on you, Loma.
Who are they anyway?
Exactly. Those, they died a while ago, as you know, Loma. They died a while ago. I mean, Liam, I'll quickly ask yourself. Liam is obviously not in Osaka in Japan, but you're obviously on Facebook, you're on Twitter yourself, Liam, as well. How close were you to the Loma story as it was breaking and as it was continuing for the Commonwealth Games? What were your thoughts on it, Liam?
Well, the funny thing was, I actually kind of stumbled onto Loma's story by accident. I'd obviously Japan isn't in the Commonwealth Games because Britain never invaded us, but, I'm kind of getting coverage of the games was difficult over here, but I was interested in it obviously because Scotland's my hometown, and I watched the opening ceremony and I saw everything that's going on. So I went on Twitter to have a wee rant about how tacky I thought it was, and then suddenly I caught wind of this Tongan wearing a Celtic top, and I thought, what's that all about?
So did you not even know about it at that stage?
No,
You just
I didn't. It was
literally
I was going to Twitter to have a little whinge about the Commonwealth Games and how it's basically just a procession of past British human rights abuses. But then I saw a retweet for somebody and I thought, oh wait a minute, that's interesting. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this guy is actually wearing a Celtic top at the ceremony, and I thought that is amazing. And I started following it after that, and I thought that's brilliant.
So you became one of the 9,210 followers. So Loma, I need to ask you as well, when you obviously, in fact, how early did you arrive in Glasgow prior to the actual opening ceremony? How long were you in Glasgow for before the game started?
I mean, it was 5 days. 5 days.
Right. Okay. So what do you and your teammates do in the run up to the opening ceremony? Obviously, there's a lot of anticipation and things like that. I read you were obviously trying to get your weight down, making sure. We'll come on to that shortly, actually, because that's the controversial stuff.
Yeah.
But you've got 5 days to soak up the atmosphere in the athletes' village. What was that? What was the atmosphere like? And did you get to, did you have a mess around with all the other athletes from the other countries? Was it a great atmosphere in there?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a very good atmosphere, especially when we were just leaving the athletes' village just to go for walkabouts because New Delhi games we pretty much weren't allowed because of all the terrorist threats, so we were stuck. So I promised myself these games I'll go out, mingle with the people.
Yeah.
So you're going down in Glasgow and just the hype about it, eh? Just everyone's so friendly and no one's arrogant, for me the games it's about the athletes, but the people and the volunteers made the games that much special. Yeah. And the guys showing us support. I think every country was getting the support from the fans, but I think from the first day that we landed in Glasgow, I was already I think I was a crowd favorite because they had girls doing they were dancing their Scottish ways or whatever, and then what happened was I ran in there and I just started dancing with them and people were loving it. They're like, oh my gosh, this Tongan dude's dancing like a Scot.
You're not shy, Loma. You're not shy anyway, mate. But I think that's the appeal as well for a lot of people and how you've won so many fans as well, because you're certainly not shy at coming forward.
Yeah, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. I don't like sugarcoating things. I know some people might not like it, but you gotta be honest. I just cut to the chase. That's it. That's how I am. I don't really care what anyone else thinks.
You say it as it is, Loma. Say it as it is.
Yeah.
So then it gets to the day of the opening ceremony, and you're going to be walking out into your beloved Celtic Paradise. What did you think of the actual stadium itself, Loma?
Oh, I was just in awe. Even just standing outside, just looking at the stadium riding and everything. Just because we could see they had the jet planes fly over, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting close to paradise. And just before we got in, I had to call my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting nervous. I don't, do I follow through with my promise? I'm just, especially because all the volunteers were like, oh, you're not allowed banners or tops or anything.
Okay,
so I was full hiding my Celtic top. I'm like, nah, I'm doing this.
So how did you manage that then? Did you have to actually hide the hoops before you went in, and then you kind of brought them out, or were they okay with it?
Yeah, no, I had a jacket because I know it was getting cold. So all of the athletes were bringing out our Tongan jackets, and I just I folded up the top and I just hid it in there. And then I just stayed at the back, and all the officials like, nah, get out in the front. And I'm like, nah, these guys are going to see the top. So what happened was when we got called in, that's when you see me bolt out because I'm like, nah, you guys ain't going to stop me. And I'm like, and I just ran out. I'm like, and I just flashed the top before they could even stop me. So, and I was like, it was too late. And then I didn't know that the Queen was sitting right there, and I'm full flashing it like, and the crowd was
flashing the
loving
hoops
it.
at Lizzie. Oh, they would have been. But I suppose as you were walking, because it's quite a long walk around the outside of the park, obviously, as you're making your way around. So were you literally dancing with the hoops? Because the way it showed you on the television, obviously, you see each country coming out, but as soon as they get round at the what is the original Celtic end of the ground, and you turn the corner, it goes on to the next country sort of thing. But were you dancing around with the hoops the entire whole way of the stadium, and were any stewards or anything trying to get hold of you?
Nah, everyone just loved it, just the cameras, and I was going right on the edge, and like each section of the crowd literally like roared, like, oh, I couldn't believe. That's why, even my teammates, because I told them, like, have my back if anyone, like, gets me or something. Like, and then everyone was just, oh, man, that's why I was going nuts. Everyone's like, oh, this guy's crazy, but only because the crowd they were just into it. Like, because all the other countries are coming in, but, like, it was like, oh, yeah, like, but then it was like just a dead silence. But me, oh man, the top just got the crowd going pretty much.
Oh, it's brilliant. It was brilliant. And of course, Loma as well, you were obviously keen to get, obviously with the timing of it, Celtic were playing Reykjavik, and we'll come on to the debacle of last night a little bit later as well. But that game through in Murrayfield in Edinburgh, obviously, you laid it on the line quite early on that you were really keen. Obviously, while you were waiting for things to happen, you were really keen to get through and actually see a game. And again, I was following that closely on Twitter. You were putting it out there, come and let's see if we can get through it. And before you know it, you've got a nice tweet from Celtic FC themselves saying we'll be more than happy to take you along. Talk us through that whole experience and who got in touch with you from Celtic and what were the arrangements and how you got through to Edinburgh.
So what happened was, so with the whole tweet thing, just like, it wasn't, I did ask, but the thing was I was getting a lot of tweets, at myself and Celtic, a lot of people were like, you need to get this guy to the game. And I think there was just this high demand. And then, what happened was, and I was freaking out because I get a tweet from Celtic and I'm like, there's a video somewhere, my mate posted up. I'm literally like swearing, like, oh my gosh, like, and all me and my whole teammates in the village in our rooms, we literally screamed our whole house down. The chief commissioner had to tell us off. But I didn't know how excited I was. I was like, oh my gosh. And then freaking one of the marketing managers, he contacted me. His name's Martin. So he contacted me. He's like, look, do you want to come? Like, are you able to come? And this happened within like 24 hours. Like,
yeah. It was all pretty quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just like, and I had to find out from my mates because they were like, man, you're making some news over there. I'm like, because I don't read into media. I don't buy into that stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, you're making some headlines, man. I'm like, I didn't know that. and then what happened was we went to Murrayfield, and it was that bad. Like we were in the car, and people in their cars and buses were looking at me. They're like, oh my God. They were like pointing at me like, oh my gosh, that's him. And they're full taking photos like in their car. Yeah, I'm just like,
absolutely brilliant. So how did you actually get through? Did Celtic organise a car for you to go through?
Yeah, so we ended up catching where all the managers and that were on that bus, like all the people inside Celtic. So we were in there with my whole teammates, and because especially like Tongan people, we don't follow football. I follow football.
Yes.
So now my Tongan teammates, they're full on into Celtic. Like they couldn't believe the atmosphere. They're like, oh my, and just to let alone, and we didn't even know. He didn't even tell me that we were going to get on the pitch.
Oh,
and I was,
brilliant.
Man, get on the pitch, and I'm like shaking. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Like,
and then you met Scott Brown as well, because I saw some of the pictures you took of that as well, and that was all in the papers as well over in Scotland. What was Scott Brown like? What was he saying to you? Or what were you saying to him?
I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm like looking at him like, oh, how did this happen? He goes to me, nah. He goes, you're the man. And I'm just like, but I can judge someone by like the first 6 seconds, and he's one of those. He's one of those guys you can just sit back and have a drink with, and he doesn't have that big ego like big players have. He treats you the same, like no one's better than the other person, and I like that. Yeah, and he made me feel comfortable, and he was just, oh man, if I go back to Glasgow, I've got to get a drink with that guy.
I think we certainly missed his leadership on the park last night as well in that game, that's for sure. But yeah, it looked a great experience. And you said that your teammates that went through with you to the game, they all enjoyed the experience as well, Loma.
Yeah, they loved it. They're all gonna follow Celtic now. I think. Oh, and the whole of Tonga will be following Celtic now. So.
That's great. Now, I have my little theory. Was it the next day that you had to go for your weigh-in for the games? It was the next day.
Yeah, it was the next day. So what happened was about 3 months ago, I was about 100 kilos. So I had to drop down to 64.
And that's pretty heavy, mate. 100 kilos.
Yeah, I was pretty fat, like.
And what height are you, Loma? What height are you?
Oh, I'm 169.
1 metre 69. So what's that in old money, Pat? You'll know. Convert that into feet and inches for me.
It's a 5 foot.
Anyway, you were 100 kilos. Loma. So you had to obviously lose weight, and that's a substantial amount of weight to have to lose, buddy. I'll need to take some tips off you. If you can lose 35 kilos in a few months, mate, we'll speak offline after this. I'll need to get some tips from you, Loma.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what happened. And then I ended up, it was that bad, like my body just put on muscle. So just from being overweight, so carrying all that weight. And then I was 0.6. And then for 3 days, I didn't eat, drink. The day of the weigh-in, I was in the sauna for about an hour and a half. And man, if I could cut myself and bleed, I would have made weight. So yeah, so that's how agonizing close I was.
But I mean, to come all that way as well for the purpose of being there, it must have been some blow when you felt you couldn't have made it.
Yeah.
And you couldn't obviously box the job you were there to do. I mean, how did you feel at that moment? Then you must have been gutted, Loma.
Oh no, I was heaps gutted, especially because I wanted to redeem myself after New Delhi games, and I know some of those fighters there I could beat, especially a couple of the favorites. And what burnt me most is when I was watching them fight, and I'm just going, oh my gosh! And then like all my mates on Facebook and Twitter just tweeting me like, man, you could have had a chance of winning a gold, and I go, shit happens, like.
Yeah. Did you strongly fancy yourself for gold, Loma, or what was your realistic expectations going to those games? What did you think you were coming away with?
I reckon I could medal it. Only because I fought some high caliber fighters, and the guy who ended up winning gold was the guy I lost to in the semis in New Delhi. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, and he's the local boy as well from Scotland. His name's Josh Taylor. But very, very good fighter. But I did want my chance at him just to redeem myself, just to prove I can beat him. But didn't happen. So
was he a Celtic fan or a Rangers fan? Did you ever find that out, Loma?
Oh,
Josh Taylor.
That
could have been a tasty final if he was a Seth Coney.
I think he was a Celtic fan because he ended up coming talking to me and he was like, how did you get to the Celtic game? And I'm nah. So I'm guessing he was a Celtic fan, so yeah.
I must admit, Loma, when I'd heard the next day, because again, with the whole build up to it, I think we were all really looking forward to see you perform as well. So when I'd heard that you'd missed out because you'd missed the weights, I'll be honest, see, one of the thoughts that came through me, terrible thought it was, but I thought, I bet you that's because Loma was through there and he went out on the piss after the game that night, and he couldn't, and he actually missed the way in. That's what I was thinking through my head. He was pissed out his head, singing at some cheap club in Glasgow with all these Celtic fans going mad, and they've ruined his game's chances because he's been out on the Magners.
That didn't
so
happen.
It wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite that.
Nah,
that's good though. So I mean, in terms of then, obviously you couldn't compete, but what did you do during the rest of the Commonwealth Games then? How did you like occupy yourselves, or how long did you hang around?
I pretty much just networked with people, because now I've just started up my own sports agency as well. So
give it a plug. You better give it a plug here, because this is the half the world away, so this will go around Australia anyway. What's the name of it?
So I'm co-owning it with a mate of mine. He was actually the first goalkeeper choice before Matty Ryan in the youth system at Central Coast Mariners.
Okay.
So it's called a high caliber sports management. So you can find it. It's on Twitter and everything. But we actually got a few players that want to sign under us. So
good.
It's not just football. It's just all sports codes. So.
Okay, good.
You know, we feel there's a bit of like dodgy agents out there, but I think the difference we're a bit different because we're athletes ourselves, so we want to look for the best interest in our clients. So
that's great. Well, we wish you all the best of luck with that as well, Loma.
Thanks for that.
So with your boxing, though, do you still see a future in boxing? Are you going to? Would you rather stick in the management side of it? Like, are you going to? Was there an option of going professional? Or is it another crack at another Commonwealth Games, or what's your feelings with that side?
I think, especially when I didn't make weight, I think I might as well say on this podcast now. On Tuesday I'll have an official statement. It looks like I pretty much made my mind. I'll end up turning professional. So
good on you. Good stuff.
Yes, I think I've already told my bit of family and friends first before it gets out there, but I think they all think it's the right decision, especially the style I fight is more suited to the pros than the amateurs. Mm-hmm. I think I fancy my chances of winning some world titles. So
good on you.
But that's the bigger picture, just to win world titles and then manage the business with my mate, and hopefully my main goal is to be a multi-millionaire before I'm 30. So.
Well, don't forget your friends on the Half the World Away podcast when you get to that status, Loma.
Oh no, don't worry, I'll remember you guys.
And your other 9,210 followers on Twitter. So Loma, when you got back to, it's for those that don't really know, but it's Sydney you live, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, Sydney. So I moved over here when I was 15 from New Zealand. So
yeah. So you came back after the games were over, and you travelled back to Sydney, and a lot of people might have thought that's the big Celtic link all kind of closed off now and things like that. Loma's away back to Oz. But of course, we have some good friends in the Sydney Celtic Supporters Club that invited you along to their annual general meeting, which was just around the corner, really. Now, tell us, we know quite a few of the guys in the Sydney CSC. There's Jim Riley's the president there, and we know Jim Kinlan's in there, Warren Murphy's in there. There's quite a few other boys. How did that all come about? Did they get in touch with you, Loma, and invite you along? How did that all play out?
Oh, so what happened was when I got sent back home early, I put out a Facebook status. I said, as soon as I get home, I need to find a Celtic firm or something in Sydney. And then I got a message from Graham, and then he referred me to Jim. He goes, you need to join our one, like we got an AGM on Saturday. Yeah. So I ended up going, and then there were heaps welcoming. They were starstruck when I came. Like, I'm just normal.
But you were the big celebrity, Loma. You're the big celebrity. Whether you like it or not, mate, you're the big celebrity.
Yes. So that's how it happened. And then I networked with a few of the boys there, and then they ended up making me an honourable member of. So I don't have to pay anymore.
No membership fees or anything. Just straight in there.
Yeah, and they were just like, because for me, like, it's very humbling that, I get this attention, like, I still feel the same, but to these guys, they were like big, like, girls, like, oh my gosh, can I get a picture? I'm like,
Well, we're the exact same here on this show tonight, just listening to you.
Yeah, no, I don't know about you guys. I am personally shitting myself. I'm really nervous. I'm sweating, so.
No, don't be.
Loma, it's the first. You're the first celebrity interview we've had on the podcast, right enough. So it's a privilege for us to have you on, mate. It was nice of you to agree to come on, anyway, buddy. It's all good. So I guess we'll wrap it up shortly, I suppose. But Loma, what does the immediate future hold for you then? Because as you said, you're going to make this statement that you're going to be turning professional, and as I said, we're all right behind you on that, mate, and we wish you the best of luck with your professional career. But is there anything else that the immediate future holds for you, mate? Or are you just going to enjoy life?
I'll just pretty much enjoy it, but I'm the type of person I've always have to set goals and have to achieve. But I always have high standards. So yeah, like I said, I want to win world titles. Get my the sports agency underway, signing the best talent that the world has to offer. Yeah, I always dream big. I never. Because once you settle for little goals, that's all you're used to. But when you're used to setting big dreams and achieving, that's all you're used to. So since this whole explosion of Celtic, it gives me a good fan base, and
certainly does.
Yeah, so it's a good exposure, and hopefully all the Celtic fans are behind me, because I know anyone that's from Celtic, or just anyone in general that comes and talks to me, I always make that time to give them that one-on-one time, make them feel comfortable around me, and that I'm not this I'm this Tonga Tim, I'm just like just like you pretty much. So
no, that comes across. That comes across as well. Loma, is that little Rocky I can hear in the background?
Oh yeah, Rocky's famous.
Rocky's famous as well. See, I saw a picture. I saw your little. I think, did you put it up on Instagram or something?
Yeah,
your little video clip with Rocky thanking Glasgow for the games and things like that. So my God, Rocky's famous. Rocky's famous as well. Incredible. How many followers has Rocky got on Twitter?
I should make an account for it, but she's pretty well known now. So.
It's all good. Well, guys, I'll be honest. I'm not sure we want to go into discussing the game last night at all. But I think we'd rather than finish on a low. I think, as I said earlier on, it'd be good if we can maybe round off this little I guess interview with Loma by testing out those Celtic credentials, and we'll maybe have a little bit of a quiz here. So I think we'll try and pit Loma up against Liam for this one. Okay. And as I said, from what I've heard so far and the way you were talking earlier, Loma, I think you're a dark horse here, mate. I think you might. Some people might doubt your credentials as a Celtic fan, but I think you might surprise a few people with your knowledge here. Yeah. But Pat, do you want to be the quizmaster extraordinaire and maybe pose the questions to the boys and see how Loma does?
Yeah, no probs. Right, so what we'll do, I've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Right, so what I'll do is. Well, Liam...
Strange number of questions.
I know. I've got no idea. It was meant to be 10, but I never quite got there. So I'll pose the question first to Liam, because he probably should know the answer. And I guess what we'll do
is... No pressure, Liam. No pressure.
Well, there's a better chance of Liam knowing, But I mean, from what I read, I forget...
You're trying to set him up here, Pat, or something?
I remember reading in one article about... Well, that's why we asked earlier about his Loma's sort of Celtic credentials, that he's a bit more well versed than we probably give him credit for. So we'll see how he goes with it. I didn't want to do too hard. But we'll see how we go. Right, so anyway, we'll go Liam. Right, so first question.
And I'm not allowed to answer, Pat.
No, you can keep the scores, Kev.
I'll keep the scores.
Okay. Right. If there are any scores, if anyone actually gets anything right. So, right, Liam, which Celtic player had the nickname The Hat?
Hat?
The Hat.
Oh, right. No idea. Total guess.
Loma?
Is it what is it? Paul McStay? McStay?
That's what Liam said as well.
Ding. All right, that's 1 point each. Well done.
Yes.
The Hat.
The Hat.
I thought it was the Maestro.
That's what we call him. But his nickname was The Hat. So there you go.
Bloody hell. Well done, lads.
Did you know that, Kev?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, there you go. So it's nothing to you then. Right. Question number 2. This is question number 2. Who was the first Celtic player, or who was currently playing for Celtic, to also play for England in a full international?
Oh, I think I know that one.
So, Liam, first player who was playing for Celtic to get an England cap.
Okay. Alan Thompson.
Loma?
Alan Thompson?
Yep, okay.
I would have went for that as well. Yep.
Ding, ding. Now,
2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
This is going to go to the,
This is
wire.
going to the wire.
Right, okay.
I'm impressed with this, Loma. I'm impressed with this, mate.
Shit.
I might have
I'm
to
impressed with Liam as well, right enough.
Right, so Liam, which former Celtic player is commonly known to the fans as Le Petit Merde?
Petit Merde.
Le Petit Merde.
Mo Johnson.
Loma? Which former Celtic player is more commonly known as Le Petit Merde?
Maurice Johnson? Johnston?
Yeah.
Johnson?
Ooh.
Now then. Now then.
Yes, I would have known that one.
Yeah, I've got that one.
3-3.
Right, now I'm going to test.
It's levels, you devils.
I'm going to test people's. Probably it's more of I guess an age thing here, Kev. I think you'll know this one, but whether the boys do.
Just because I'm an old fogey, Pat, is that what it is?
A bit older than they are or something. Right, so complete the following well-known Celtic song. Right, the famous, well-known Celtic song. Okay. There's only one United, and that's the blank. Liam.
I do know that.
There's only one United, and that's the blank.
No, I don't know.
Oh, Liam!
Liam's hit the bar. This is quite an oldish song, mind you.
It depends whether Loma actually heard this in his travels, but this is a very old song that's sung in jest, Loma.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of songs.
I've
been listening to a lot of songs since leaving Glasgow. Is it the only one that's all the fucking biscuits? That's the one. That's the one.
There's only one United, and that's the fucking biscuits.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. Is that right, Pat?
Is it? Christ's sake.
Oh my god.
Liam 3, Loma 4.
Right now. I'm going to give.
I feel like you've been stitched up. Jesus Christ.
So here's this could. I'm thinking we should give extra points for this one, right? Because it's going to give something away. Right. So we'll go one. I'm going to give you 4. There's 4 in total, right? So we'll give you 2 each, right? So we need names. 2 names each for a reference to fans of the club formerly known as Rangers. So you can say anything. So not obviously.
Only 4.
Well, 2 each. So Liam, give me one name for referring to fans of the former club formerly known as Rangers.
Huns.
That's Hun. Let's give you that one.
Bravo. I would definitely have.
Right, Loma, you must have heard some of this when you were back in Scotland. Come on.
Yes. Zombie.
Oh. You're the man.
The old zombies.
Right. Liam, another.
Sevconians.
Oh, one of my favourites right now, the Sevconians.
All right, Loma.
The famous one, Scotland's Shame.
Oh, Scotland's Shame.
I'm going to try and get Liam back into this one because he's a point behind. There's only one question left. Right. So, Liam, I will give you an extra bonus point if you can mention one more name.
For the Huns?
For the
All right. Let me think. The Great Unwashed.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's face it, pretty much anything goes. You're gonna say you were going to. Right, so we're all level.
Scum of the earth.
We're all level, right? So, as we have an Australian guest, I have to do this. This is the deciding question. This is question 6. What's the scores, Kev, by the way? So we're about 4 or 5 each, is it?
Well, there was 2 points each for them, so it's all level.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all level.
You're a
it's all level.
You're a great scorekeeper. You are.
Round about 5 each. Round about 5 each.
Kev, I'm going to ask a question right now. We can either do closest to the pin or the first one to shout it. Let's do closest to the pin, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. And you've only got 5 seconds to answer, okay? 5 seconds, right? So, because we have an Australian guest,
You're
a Tongan guest, and a Kiwi
building
guest.
this up, Pat. I hope it's good.
What is Tom Rodgick's squad number at Celtic? Liam.
20.
Loma.
This is the easiest one. Tom Rogic is my favourite player. It's 18. It's 18.
What is it?
It's 18.
What is it? Oh! The Tonga Tim takes the title.
Well done, Loma.
Thank you.
Come
the
on,
title.
it's worst, Jesus.
That's maybe, mind you, Loma, that was an easier one for Loma with the Aussie connection, I suppose, his favourite player. But fair play, that was good.
Well done.
Loma, I must admit, mate, you didn't let us down there with that. Your knowledge was superb.
I want to know who was singing "There's Only One United" and that's the fucking Biscuits these days. That's a really old song, jeez.
That must have been in Loma's some of his drunken antics through at the Sydney AGM, Sydney CSG AGM. Maybe.
I reckon it was Scott Brown. It must have been Scott Brown teaching him songs like that. Jesus, that is spectacular. So,
commiserations, Liam. You did well though, Liam. Some of those questions, I think there was about 2 or 3 I wouldn't have got out of that anyway.
Paul McStay, good guess for the hat.
Paul McStay, the hat. That's bloody nonsense. I've never heard that in my life. The maestro.
I think I saw it in a sticker album in like 1992 or something. I'm sure I remember it wasn't from the album.
It was a fantastic guess. I'd say that's the one I thought nobody would get, but there you go. Spectacular stuff.
I'm impressed, boys.
Is there some sort of announcement or an award or something at the end of it, Kev, that you want to?
I don't think I don't have a prize for you, Loma, obviously, unfortunately, but I don't know. Maybe we'll dig something up one of these days and get it to you somehow.
What about
some little trophy?
What about some sort of disclaimer about the quiz, maybe?
No disclaimers there about any quiz, Patrick. Don't be foolish now.
Okay.
No, but what I was going to say is, Loma, obviously, it's been great having you on, and we don't want to. I know it's getting late over there as well now, and I do know that you were up early to see that game this morning, as was I. So time is a marching on. But again, just on behalf of the Half the World Away Celtic podcast and everybody at Hail Media on Spreaker, thanks very much for coming onto the podcast, mate. It's been great to have you on. You've been a great guest for us, great contributions, and it's just been great to hear your story and your experience over in Glasgow, where you won so many new fans and friends, and I think hopefully you might even get a few more followers once we start tweeting out this podcast. Hopefully we'll get a few more people ourselves listening in as well, because we only usually get about 3 or 4 listeners. We should have told you that before we got you on, Loma.
I'll make sure I'll send out a tweet about this anyway, so it's alright.
Yeah, we usually do not too bad, to be honest, Loma. So, but it's been great to have you on. Finally, if there is any other Celtic fans or anybody else listening to this out there that don't follow you yet on Twitter, but they want to look you up, what's your full Twitter handle, Loma?
It's at Lomalito Moala. So most of the time, if you just hashtag Tonga Tim, it'll come up with me. I should change it to Tonga Tim. So.
Brilliant. And is there anything else you'd like to say just before we round it off, Loma, at all? Any shout-outs you'd like to say, or any other promotional bits for yourself?
Maybe a message to the Celtic fans. What would you like to say to the Celtic fans?
Yeah, I just wanna thank the Celtic fans for just the experience, and just to be honest, it's not. When I did that tweet about the retweets, it wasn't to get the publicity. It was just to see, it was just a muck around tweet, and then I don't know, it will blow up, and then all of a sudden they're making me out to be some big character. So it's all the Celtic fans and the ones that got me to the game. So all my praise goes to them. So and I love you guys all. So thanks for that.
Good on you, Loma.
What about to Jim Riley and the guys in Sydney? Are you going to get along to see them? Any future games?
Yeah, so I'd like to say thanks to Jim and all the boys at the Sydney Celtic supporters group. I'm playing with Jim on the 16th of August in his 5-a-side. So
very good.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll look good in front of all the boys, playing pretty well. So
yeah, you know Jim's he's a fair player. His young Jim, you know that
Yeah, I heard. And someone was saying that he was actually a pretty good player, and he's still playing now. So
it's not bad for a very, very, very old man.
Yeah.
He loves me, really.
So, good stuff. Excellent.
Nah, that's good. Well, again, thanks very much again, Loma, and who knows, we might get you on sometime down the line as well and catch up with you again, mate, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, I like doing podcasts like this. It's always good fun, and it's nothing serious. It's just taking the piss out of things, so it's good.
Exactly. Right. Well, thanks again, Loma, and hail.
Hail.
He knows his stuff about Celtic, doesn't he, Liam?
That's outstanding.
Aye, right, who gave him the answers? Come on.
Liam, listen, I'll tell you, I was getting a bit nervous, especially when you go,
I know, you got the hat.
What? I thought, wait a minute, did Pat email those answers to Liam instead of and I tell you something, Loma, your acting ability was outstanding.
You're in the wrong business, mate. You should be acting.
That was good. But Liam, you came very close, mate. I think Pat was sweating on that last question.
Just as well I got the decider, and he said 20. I'm thinking,
I know.
He's only 2 away.
Nearly bang on the money.
I didn't have another question. Didn't even a tie. Good stuff.
That was good, lads. Excellent.